because I'm hoping this video will reach people who are interested in the Movo as a cheaper alternative to our friend Blue Yeti, who sounded fantastic but continuously has problems with micro USB. Let me bring that on momentarily. We have our Blue Yeti here. This is a Blue Yeti X, and the micro USB port went out on it, so it now has an electric whine under everything. And so I decided I was going to try this one out. So, what you're hearing and what you've been hearing this whole time is the Movo. And this is just straight out of the box. You got your back with the volume, your mute, mute. And on the front, you've got a gain and a pattern select. And the patterns are the same patterns that that are on the Yeti, any of the Yetis, 4 patterns: stereo, cardioid, omnidirectional, figure 8. Now, mostly we are going to be using the cardioid, which it is right now. And as far, yep. Is it coming? It's coming more clearly this way. Okay. Wow. The cardioid, I think. The cardioid. Yeah, it's coming through here. I think they built the cardioid backwards. This is very interesting then. We're learning this live. So the cardioid is on the back side. And why do I call it the back? Because the gain is right here and the pattern selector is right here. I guess with the Yeti X, everything ran through this button and you just push it and you could flip stuff around, and then the pattern selector was in the back. Brothers, sisters, these mics are almost identical. This was made for the Blue Yeti. It's one of the common ones for like mic pumping, and as you can see, it fits right on the Movo. We have another one, Fuzzy. Fuzzy fits on the Yeti, but not very well. It's got a bunch of empty fluff up at the top. And it also fits actually better on the Movo. So, I wanted to show that comparison. Look down at the base. This one's round. This one's sticking out a little bit further. The weight. This one's a little lighter. The Movo is a little lighter because I think they have weights or sand in the bottom of the Yeti stand. Functionally, they're the same. You tighten and loosen over here, and it sticks into the body of the mic. Size-wise, I think the Movo's a little bit taller and a little bit lower below. It's actually in there more firm than our friend the Yeti. And from my understanding and research, the Yeti has a lot of trouble with its the USB mini port, and that little trapezoid is so obnoxious. I wish mic companies would go somewhere else with it. So let's go over here. This is the figure eight pattern. Figure eight pattern. Woo! Too hot. Turn down the gain a bit. Figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight. Yeah. So the pattern is on the front and the back of the mic. This is your interview type. So theoretically, you can have one interviewer on this side, and you can have the other interviewer on this side where you are, and you can talk into the same mic, and it will pick up both of you. If you're talking at roughly the same volume, it's very easy to mix. You could also use it for singing two-person karaoke. We're back to our friend Cardioid. Cardioid, of course, is like, how to do this? It's basically like goes out, goes around, and then comes back in. Now there might be a little hoop on the side here. Omnidirectional. So theoretically, you should be able to hear me about the same all the way around, but we might have like hot zones. Let's try turning this way. Hot zones, hot zones, hot zones, hot zones, hot zones. Yeah. So the hot zones, it sounds like hot zone. Hello, 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 hello. Yep. So the hot zones are in front and back, just like our figure eight, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but just be aware that if you want the same audio quality all the way around, I don't think you're going to get it as good from the sides. It'll still pick it up, obviously. And our last pattern, stereo. Now, I am curious about the stereo, knowing what we know about the cardioid pattern. Cardioid pattern. Turn it around. Cardioid pattern. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. So friends, it works the same. So our stereo is on the same side, I think, as the cardioid. Let's flip it back. I think it's 2. Cardioid. Yep. It is confirmed. Okay. That's the wrong way. That was the figure 8. Okay. So, the side with the mute is the one that features the 2 main modes that you, the streamer or ASM artist, would be using. Also, the pattern switch is on the back, so you'll have to look at it. Maybe mute it and swap. The mute, you can hear it, obviously. Do-da. It's a very beefy button. You can actually hear the knob turning on the volume. I need to turn that gain down a bit. Yeah. So these knobs are a little bit loose in here. I would say, unfortunately, the at least the knobs are not quite as sturdy as the Yeti knobs. The sound quality, however, I think I like a lot. So let's try mic pumping. The left and right are pretty good on this. Yeah. Crisp, clean, good distinction left and right. I always hope that one day a company like this will make a stereo mic that pushes it out quite a bit further, like a 70 or 80 degree angle instead of a 40 to 60 degree angle. Let's try our fuzzy hat. Yeah. That's the stuff. That is the stuff. When I first started ASMR, when I first started ASMR, I spent a lot of time petting the mic, like so, because it's a very comforting sound. It's a sound I very much enjoy listening to. Soothing. And my listeners liked listening to it too. Here, so there's a range about that much on the mic on either side, where you get more of a distinction right or left in my case. Right, left. And now that I think about it, this makes a lot more sense than having it set up the other way. Obviously, I did not read any of the directions. If there are directions, I didn't look at them. I took it out, I screwed it in, and I set it there. plugged it in. That's it. Something I like about the large caps is that they generally capture more of the bass tone of the voice. However, the further away you get, the less bass tone you will capture. And the same is true with all of the mics that I use. But this one in particular seems like it loses bass faster. And maybe it's because of the type. Maybe it's because of the cage. I do want to draw your attention here just to how wide and open the cage is on this and how narrow, demure the cage is on this. So our Blue Yeti friend has a very fine cage, and the Movo friend, obviously the Movo I'm talking through, but it's a very thick, meaty cage. I would even say slightly less refined, but that's not a bad thing, because you get a lot more rasp out of stuff. And it's good to have a flat surface, I think. I like the beefier net, so to speak, on this one. I think it's a lot better for scraping. And I'll tell you, it's capturing sound pretty faithfully. $40 mic, $110 mic. I actually emailed a mic repair shop and asked them if they could do something about my good friend Yeti's malfunctioning USB mini port. Too loose and creating an electrical buzz. And you know what he told me? I don't work on USB mics. And I imagine professional mic makers for the next 10 to 20 years are all going to say, I don't work on USB mics because they don't think they're good quality mics. Now, ASMR listener and ASMR artist, we know better, because I have my $2,000 mic here, but there's a place for this $30 or $40 mic. I don't remember how much it was. With tax, it was like 40. Okay, so 40, 110. I feel bad that this one, I looked up a repair guide, right? I thought I'll repair it myself. And it involves resoldering a circuit board and reattaching the USB micro or mini. I don't remember if it's a micro or a mini. It's the trapezoid. I guess the difference, one of the differences, is the Yeti X comes with a suite of software that also controls other Logitech things, such as a Logitech back of monitor light that you can change different colors, brightnesses. The two cameras that I'm using are both Logitech, and I can control both of them and do like different things inside the Logitech GHub. It's the same for like, I don't know that I can actually show you this. There we go. Just bend over. Just bend over. Yeah, there we go. Kind of, sort of. It's twitching around all over the place. Anyway, I have a Stream Deck from Elgato. Elgato has a similar program, and I think their stuff, for the most part, is slightly overpriced, just like Logitech. Having said so, I think Stream Deck is the best Stream Deck in the market, which is why I have one. The Logitech cameras seem to be the best bang for the buck. I still think they're a little more expensive than they should be, but decent quality. The light, I love. Do I need to micro-control all of these things through a GHub and throw special effects? And most of you are going to be the same way. You need a camera, you need a light, you need a microphone. You don't need them to interact. You don't need special effects. You don't need to save scenes. You just need something that works. And something that's not going to break your budget. And so I approached this Movo with some excitement because it was much, much cheaper than the Logitech version. And if over the next little bit of time it proves to be equal value but cheaper, its sales are going to overtake, which is going to make Logitech either upgrade their microphones to not break in the one spot that you definitely need it to not break, that is the output port. Or they're going to make a new mic that doesn't have a USB mini. And quite honestly, I looked all over the internet for something with variable polar patterns, around $100, any brand. Like, I've got AKG, I have Sennheiser in the closet for recording drums, I have Tascam, I have 3DO, Logitech, Blue. I don't know who everybody's parent company is. And now I have Movo. Oh, Audio-Technica over there. So, I think this Movo, based on my experience, I'm going to turn it around just so you can see the logo, even though the cardioid is on the back, relatively speaking. But you can still hear it. I can switch over to Omni, I think. Omni, yeah. It's actually not a bad Omni. Not bad at all. Of course, the Omni emphasizing the figure 8 pattern. I guess I could have gone straight to the figure 8. Yeah. In any case, I'm very excited to use this in an actual ASMR stream as I do stream. That's my primary ASMR content, is stream, improvisation, chatting at the same time. But yeah. As long as the mic port lasts, this is a much better deal. Or the USB mini. And straight out of the box, it's a lot firmer than the Logitech. The Logitech was kind of loose. Straight out of the box. They both have a 1/8 inch jack in the bottom. And I think they both have a similar access point for getting in, which is inside of this hole. And this one also has a hole here and a similar rubber mat in the bottom. And of course your your headphones. Now, this mic switch back to cardioid and set it up. This mic would also be good for streaming. So if you are a beginner streamer looking for getting into ASMR cheap and you want a mic that does both, Movo UM800. They have an M700. It's, I guess, not as good by 100. Whatever that means. And I don't have to buy new covers. These were cheap, but still. It's like $7 for both of them. I looked into getting one of the other Blue Yetis, not the X, the one that like has physical knobs. But from my understanding and research on the web, the USB mini or micro on the bottom is just as prone to loosening up and losing connection. So, take my advice if you want. If you don't, I hope this was informative. Muting the Movo, bringing in the AKGs. And the AKGs, the reason I don't use these, they do have a figure 8 pattern, but the figure 8 pattern is front and back and not stereo for left and right, so it comes through the same channel. These are XLR mics, and so in general you can expect with XLR mics a lot better quality of audio than a USB mic. However, these still don't do as much unless you're paying $2,000 for one. Like, I think AKG had one with a stereo polar pattern. And I don't remember how many. I think you had 2 XLR cables plugged into it, and that's how it did it. Or you had a special like 4-prong XLR for left and right, which is kind of a pain to get something that also has a 4-prong XLR input, which drives up the cost even more. But that mic was $2,000 by itself, like one that's this size with a stereo out basically for XLR. But you can hear this captures the low end of my voice a lot better, and I can be a little farther away without losing as much. And this is why I use these for when I'm speaking in ASMR, because it captures a lot more of chest voice, we'll say, the lower end of my voice. So as I listen to this is a lot more what my voice sounds like in my own head than other microphones. But let's compare directly. Left, left, right, right. Left, left, right, right. Left, left, right, right. Left, left, right, right.